Hi friends, hope everyone is doing great. In this video, let us learn what's the true meaning and purpose of yoga. Its physical dimensions called the asanas, their benefits and the sequence of asanas to be performed for keeping the physical body, the mind and the spirit more aligned and healthier so as to achieve inner calmness, balance, alertness and blissfulness. We all know the word yoga originates from the word yuj, which means union. But what's meant by the union in its true sense? Sage Patanjali has termed yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. This means that if the functioning of the intellect is stopped consciously, we can declare that we are in yoga. To understand this more clearer and better, we should understand the very nature of our intellect. Its fundamental nature is to divide or discriminate, to analyze and to know about anything in this universe. By doing so, we can just know about a few aspects of it, but not the very nature of that entity, whatever the entity may be. By discriminating, we can just know about the physicality of it, but not the entirety of life. So Patanjali have clearly mentioned that if we seize our intellect consciously and still be alert, then we are in the state of Nirodha, meaning our intellect is not active but that we are fully conscious. This is the true state of being in yoga. That is, when we didn't discriminate by intellect, we'll know that we are the part of everything, and this is the very nature of true yoga or the true union. Yoga is a comprehensive word suggesting union. Whatever leads to union can be called as yoga. Example, the simple act of breathing, sitting, walking, eating or the daily activities that we do can be transformed into yoga. For example, the air we breathe, till the very moment the air or the prana enters within us, it's been discriminated by our intellect as something else. But once it enters within ourselves, it becomes part of ourselves. Same goes with any intake, be it water, food, the sceneries, the knowledge, the information, etc. So, any act that is happening within us, if we are fully conscious or aware of that happening, then we can term that as being in the state of yoga. I hope now we understand the very purpose of being in the state of yoga. So, yoga can be considered as a tool to find the ultimate expression to our life. Every human being must explore and know about it. The other dimension to yoga is to activate the energy. Modern science have accepted that the whole existence is just the energy manifesting itself in different ways. So we are just a certain amount of energy functioning in a particular way. So through proper yogic techniques, we can channelize our inner energy for higher possibilities. So yoga is not just practicing difficult asanas and difficult pranayamas, but it is a mechanism and technology to get ourselves to the state of experience where we can see the reality just the way it is. So the right meaning of yoga means union, that means two have become one. To understand this in depth, there is another way of observation. There are only two forms of discrimination possible in the existence, we and the rest of the existence. In the rest of the existence, there can be many forms to identify. But essentially, there are only two dimensions of experience, the inner and the outer, or the inward and the outward. So yoga is a term to bring the union between these two, the inner and the outer world of us, that is our own perception or the discrimination, the union between we and the rest. When there is no difference of opinion between us and the other, there is just we everywhere. This is the real yoga. Sage Patanjali have structured the already pre-existing and the practicing yoga to a structured form of 8 limbs of yoga. The 8 limbs of yoga structured by Sage Patanjali are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and finally Samadhi. The first limb of yoga, called the Yama, deals with the self-restraints to be followed. And the second one is the Niyama, in which the things to be followed like the purity, contentment, austerity, self-study and dedication and etc. are discussed. The third limb of the yoga, which was structured by Patanjali, is the Yoga Asana. Now let us learn what is Asana, what is the purpose of doing the Yogasana, and what is Asana Siddhi. Yoga Asana is the physical manifestation of approaching towards the union with the universe. The physical form of approaching the ultimate union is easier way to approach our work with compared with working with the mind. Mind is a very broad spectrum compared to the physical body or the intellectual body. An asana is a posture. There are innumerable postures our body can take. Among these, there are certain postures that are identified as yoga asanas. The kind of postures that leads us to the higher possibility of union with the universe are termed as the yoga asana. There is another way of understanding in the Tamil land about the asana. In Tamil, asanam means irukkai, that is, to sit. So the very purpose of asana is not to do difficult postures but to sit at ease for a considerable amount of time. Irukkai or asanam means not just to sit but necessarily to hold the particular posture for a considerable amount of time. It's rightly expressed by sage Patanjali as Sugam, Stiram, Asanam. Now, the weight loss industry have taken yoga in hand, popularizing a huge number of repetition in order to make the physical body to regain the shape without any deeper understanding of what it will take in the body, energy and mind in the long term. General public have no awareness and in-depth knowledge in this line. In many yoga centers and gym, in the name of ground workouts, the Yogasana sequence like Surya Namaskar and other important asanas are done a repeated number of times without any understanding of how the energy will travel within the body and affect the entire system, despite so many other healthier ways of shaping the body can be devised. There are 84 traditional or the fundamental asanas. These 84 traditional asanas are a way of aligning the inner system and adjusting it with the celestial geometry, becoming in sync with the existence. There is a common myth existing among the yoga practitioners that if they do a large number of repetitions of asanas and the more they sweat, they are becoming healthy, which is certainly a very wrong way of understanding yoga and the body as a whole. Everyone doesn't need to do all the 84 asanas, just sticking to one is enough. A sincere and advanced hatha yogi stick to just only one asana whose focus is on achieving a particular siddhi or the liberation and becoming one with the universe. Now let us learn what is meant by asana siddhi. Why should one stick to just one asana and to sit in a particular way for a considerable amount of time? The reason behind is that if we learn to sit right and hold the body right, everything that can be received by our body and mind can be done automatically. This is the siddhi that's been given by the asana. If one have learned to sit in a comfortable posture for a considerable amount of time, say for 2.5 hours, we can say that the person have achieved the asana siddhi. So asana siddhi is being in absolute comfort and at ease in a particular posture. If we can achieve it, we can know everything that's to be known internally and externally. Just how by setting the electronic devices we are able to bring the whole world into our home, we are able to download the information from the universe into our body by modulating our body in a particular posture for a considerable amount of time. Because the information is stored in the universe in the form of vibration in every micro inches of the universe. An individual human being is who she or he is only because of what he or she perceives. We are what we have perceived so far and we will be based on what we will perceive. So, the whole system of yoga is only interested in enhancing the perception. If we hold a posture right, if the alignment is right, and if it matches with the cosmic alignment in some way among the 84 alignments, then everything that's happened in the creation till this moment can be known by that person. That is, if a person masters one single posture and approaches the remaining 83 through that one, he is able to understand the happenings of the creation till the moment because the memory of that is right here within the body or the system of the universe in a codified way. So yogasanas are a powerful means of connecting ourselves with the universe. This shouldn't be degraded by doing multiple repetition without any awareness on the body or the mind or the spirit. Our physical body is easier to work with and we are able to know whether it is cooperating or not, unlike our mind, which plays a huge trick on us. Our physical body is more reliable, and if we work sensibly, the yogasanas will definitely lead for the possibility of the ultimate union with the universe. In the meantime, by getting into the postures, before all the cosmic alignment to sync with us, the inner alignment happens. This gives us a natural state of perfect health, joy, bliss, and above all, the balance. Balance is what the modern society have ignored, and we are paying a huge price for it. Whatever may be the intelligence, the competence, the education qualification, without the necessary balance, we cannot succeed or not able to go very far in our life. The most important thing for people who are seeking to be successful is the balance. Only the people who are not disturbed by the external situations are able to use the competence and the intelligence that's within them. So kindly understand that the yogasanas are a way of aligning the inner system and adjusting them to the celestial geometry, becoming in sync with the existence of the nature. By sincerely following at least any one of the asanas and able to hold for a considerable amount of the time, the body acts as a channel for the possibility of the ultimate union with the universe. Usually, the biggest barrier for a humankind to achieve the highest height is their own body and the mind. We can make that as a channel or the pathway using the yogasanas. So yogasanas turns our body and mind from being a blockage to a passage. So by consciously getting the body into a certain posture, we can elevate the consciousness the very way we think, we feel, we perceive, and we understand life. It can be altered simply because of the way we sit or we hold the body. The other uses of doing yogasanas, other than getting aligned with the universal consciousness energy or the cosmic geometry or the cosmic alignments for the higher possibility of our living and understanding, we are able to get relief from the chronic ailments and are able to slow down our aging process of mind and body. So kindly do the yoga without any rush and be focused on your energy and the breath control and enjoy the yoga with ease and perform the action. Make it a rule to start and end the yogasanas with the breath. That is, initially the breath have to start, followed by the movement, and the movement have to end, which should be ended by the breath. That is, allow every movement to be led or initiated by the breath. Start the inhale just before you move, then finish the movement just before you finish the inhale. Practice the same in reverse. Start the exhale just before you start the movement, then finish the movement just before you finish the exhale. Practice techniques above with the simple movements like Tadasana first, then you can apply it to the more advanced asanas. You can notice how the mind stays linked to the breath and movement when we concentrate, and we can understand how easily it drops away when we don't. This is the right way of doing any yoga asanas. Not just we get benefited by our movements, but also the universe and its happenings. The universal climate can be altered by our movements. It was achieved in olden days through the divine dance called Bharatanatyam, and the olden days kings had placed the dancers appointed in temples for maintaining the fertile nature of the universe. You can learn more about it from the Natya Shastra. So I humbly request that we adapt the yogasanas in our daily routines and follow it with ease and dedication, for we can change ourselves and the universe in a more better way. See you all soon in another useful video. Till then, take care, bye bye, have a nice day.